Okay, so I'm here with Ted Timmins at the moment, who is the lead director of Fable Anniversary. Just wanted to take a few minutes of your time, just ask about your new game. Obviously, it's one of the biggest games that's going to be coming towards the end of this generation, which brings in the first question. Obviously, everyone's been pining for this game. Yep. You've dragged it out. You've finally released it at the end of this lifetime of the generation. Can I ask just why you bring it out on the 360 instead of the Xbox One?
Well, I think, for me, and I think, if you asked anyone that worked at Xbox, they'd share the same opinion. I don't think this is the end of the Xbox 360. I mean, sure, Xbox One is our new platform, and it looks absolutely amazing. But the Xbox 360 is in like 80 million households. There's not just going to be a switch that one night gets turned off. I think the Xbox 360 has actually a really awesome lineup this Christmas. You've got like World of Tanks. Obviously, you've got all the third-party titles as well, like Call of Duty. I shouldn't probably advertise loads of other titles, but basically, we still believe the Xbox has a lot of legs in it. And from a Fable perspective, our entire fan base is on 360. Fable 2, Fable 3, Fable Heroes, Fable Journey. And we could have put it on the next generation, but it really felt like this is a game for the fans. And you mentioned it yourself. Our fans have been crying and saying, "Look, we want this game. It's almost 10 years." So if we had put it on Xbox One, they might have just been a little bit upset because they've won it on their shelf. They have just this one slot. So I'm really, really pleased that we have brought it to Xbox 360 and that we prove that the platform still has a lot of life left in it.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things I know you're a massive fan of as well is your collector editions.
Yeah.
So obviously you brought an amazing collector's edition out for Fable 3.
Oh man, yeah.
Any plans for Fable Anniversary?
I mean, we don't have any plans because for us, we don't have an official price yet, but it's not going to be a full retail release. Like for us, this is something we're giving back to the fans, and we're saying, look, we know you guys want this, but I would say that we are definitely looking into what we can do in that price range. I'm a collector, as you know. Yeah. I will champion that, and I will bore people to tears with my demands. I'd love to. We'll see what happens. No promises. We'll just we'll see what happens.
So that's amazing. I mean, obviously, I'd love to have a statue of a chicken. I think that would just be legendary. I love it. But obviously, like you said, it's going to be the anniversary for it. So you put a hell of a lot of work into it, especially if it's not going to be a full retail title. I mean, you're now using the Unreal Engine instead of obviously your own Fable engine. Can I just ask what the perks are working with the Unreal Engine instead of using your own engine?
Well, what we've actually got is we still do have the original engine running, and that's what keeps it feeling like Fable. So all of the combat, all of the game code, that's all still ticking over in the background that all of our talented programmers wrote 10 years ago, right? But we used Unreal because what Unreal can be really good at, in fact amazing at, is that you can take old game code and use Unreal to do all the rendering and all the post-processing that comes with it. So the reason it looks so incredible, and some people come over to us actually saying, is this an Xbox One game? It looks amazing. And obviously it is Xbox 360. But we're really, this is a great time in the Xbox life cycle where you are seeing the Xbox 360 really being pushed. Obviously, Grand Theft Auto also looks incredible. There is so much you can get out of an Xbox 360, and Unreal really lets us pull out the best in it.
Yeah. I think one of the main features that I'm really enticed about, and hopefully you can describe a little bit more about, is the Smart Glass featurette. That you brought into it, because it uses you can see the old maps and the old character bios. So what's the plan? Is it you're going to be able to use this as a world map to walk around with, or what's the integration?
So I was a tester on the original title, and I loved the world map, and I loved just, I could sit there and just play with the world map, and just, it's really, I love games that just have created these unique worlds, and then they have this lovely map that we've completely it's the same map, but obviously it's now in high definition. We've tried to add a few little Easter eggs here and there. So now that I'm the lead designer, I thought, oh well, I'm also like part caretaker. I know the game very well from 10 years ago, from testing it 10 years ago. So really, I'm carrying the torch for the whole team that has ever worked on Fable. So when Microsoft announced Smart Glass, for me, I love technology. So it's just like, oh my god, I want to make something with Smart Glass. That was like my first gut reaction. And then we all got given, which is very nice in Microsoft, they gave us all Windows Surfaces. And they're really good to connect with Smart Glass. You can connect to your Xbox. I started playing with it. I was like, okay, let's get a map together. So we got a great relationship with Prima, the guys that make strategy guides, and they're working on our strategy guide for Fable Anniversary. And I just said to them, what about us doing Xbox Smart Glass app? And they were like, oh man, we'd love to do that. So we're actually working really closely to also put in some strategy guide content, because obviously the idea that the process that people currently do, get stuck in a game, go to the PC or whatever, get their phone, they go online, they search through like loads of forums or like GameFAQs, and it just takes forever. I love the idea that someone can just get their phone out, they've connected it to their Xbox, and they've just got what they need right then and there. And I think that's something that's really special, and I hope it's something that players will appreciate when they play it at home.
Brilliant. So apart from the smart glass feature you've now put in, obviously it's using a brand new engine. What else can we expect that we might not have seen before yet in the Fable?
Loads. Honestly, it really is a full remaster. I mean, we haven't talked about audio. If there's any audio files out there, that's going to be something that I think they're really going to pick up on. Russell Shaw, the original composer, still at Lionhead, still obviously composed all of our music. In his words, Fable Anniversary is how he wished it sounded 10 years ago. We've got surround sound. He's been back and reorchestrated and uncompressed, properly. This is as he would have wanted it to have sounded. Then we've got widescreen. Obviously now it's not a big deal, but 10 years ago that was a huge deal. The save system in the original game wasn't the best ever. That's a polite way of putting it. So we've revisited that. We've now put in a really cool checkpointing system. As you play through the quest, you'll get loads of checkpoints. You can save at any point and it will reload.
Oh, right, okay.
I'm just going to blitz through them because there's so many. User interface, we've redesigned the entire interface. Again, the original one was a little slow, could be clunky at times. Number one thing for us was speed. It's really efficient, not just in how quickly the pages turn, but also in just where we've placed everything. We want it to be, if you go to equipment, where do you then want everything to be laid out? So we've laid everything out as intuitively as possible.
Right.
We've also made it look like a book, because it felt like, I remember Jenny, our artist, she's actually here today. We were working on this user interface, a little story. Tell me if I cut me short if I go too long.
No.
But we're working on the user interface, and I really wasn't happy with it. I couldn't put my finger on why, and this was our first attempt at it. And I just said, what if it was just a book? And Craig Oman, our producer, and Jenny Peers were both like, that's awesome, we should totally do that. So we just scrapped everything we were working on and started from fresh. And now we've got this lovely book that fully animates, and you go through it all, and it just felt to me like Fable is a story. And then we showed that to Prima, and they were like, we want the strategy guide to look like the book. So now the strategy guide is based on the in-game book, which controls all the UI. So I think that if you're a really hardcore Fable fan, I think you'll appreciate, or I hope you'll appreciate the effort we've gone to really tie everything together.
Yeah, I was going to say, obviously we've had a little bit of a hands-on mini-test of it in there, and it plays beautifully.
Oh, thank you.
It's weird. It feels like an old family member that you haven't seen for a long time. As soon as you pop on, you know exactly where you want to go, but you've added so many new little tidbits in there.
We've had so much great fan feedback. We had one guy, I did briefly talk about the achievements on the stage. Obviously, achievements we have so much fun with. And on the stage earlier, I mentioned that we have what we call choice-based achievements. And I'll give you a quick example. One of them is called Definitely Not on Rails. And in this achievement, you can unlock it in one of two ways. You can unlock it by either visiting every single region in Albion, or you can just become morbidly obese.
Oh, right.
The game will track which way you go, so we know, and your friends will know what you've been up to. But we just thought it'd be really fun to play on the choice of consequence. If you're a really hardcore Fable fan, you can unlock it essentially twice, both ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just had a lot of fun with everything.
I was going to say, I can say, because obviously you also released that competition where the user creator could actually have their own achievement.
We had, I think it was 3,000 submissions, unbelievable. I think everyone that was part of that promotion was just completely blown away by it. My boss was like, you just need help designing them really, don't you? I was like, it would be nice if I didn't have to do them all. But I think the achievements, I always run them past people in the studio. We got a whole bunch of achievement fans in the office who I work very closely with on every single achievement, and I say, ultimately, would you enjoy unlocking this? And if they say no, or even if it's just a it's gone. So I think originally the first list of achievements was 170, and obviously we whittled that down to 50. So I think we had a really strong set, and it's really allowed us to make the most of what we're given.
Yeah, no, I love obviously your fan interaction. You can constantly see you all the time on Twitter, in the forums yourself, obviously giving the fan the feedback and giving it as much as what we physically can do. There is only the one thing so far which I know you haven't been able to go for, and that's, are we going to be seeing a PC version at all?
You know what? We are Fable fans in the office, and we respect and we appreciate that there's a large number of our fan base that are on the PC. But if you make two platforms at the same time, but if we were to do PC and Xbox, one of them, or maybe both, wouldn't be as good as it could have been if all of the focus was on that game. So we made it's a difficult decision to make, but we said we have to focus on the Xbox 360. So our fans expect the best. absolutely no less. So that has been our 100% focus. What I will say is that I would love to revisit that discussion once we have finished the game, along with DLC. You know, all these discussions that we can have once we're happy with what we've made. And I think that's, you know, I hope the fans can ultimately appreciate that and try their best to understand and forgive us. We know that the demand is there, and we'll try our best.
No, that's brilliant. So thank you very much for your time, Ted. I'll let you get back to the queue now and run the crowds, but thanks very much. All the best.
G.E.E.K 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 G.E.E.K